Right, guys, the name doesn't matter, and today I want to talk about why mainstream programming languages cannot be replaced that easily. So, everyone talks about like X programming language is going to get replaced by Y programming language, this framework is too old, new frameworks are coming in, and I just want to talk about why I don't think things change as quickly as people anticipate. When it comes to change, I have created four stages of change that I believe that every single change cycle goes through before significant differences occur from A to B, a significant transition. So let me give you an example. So four stages: inertia, ecosystem, momentum, and majority replacement. Of course, this is adapted to programming languages. So first, let's talk about inertia. Who's using it? Are banks using it? Is our programming language of choice used in the government? Is it used in embedded? Is it used in web dev? What is in production? Why is it being used? Why would there be a significant change in programming language used to begin with? Does it have great performance? Does it provide a feature that no other language has? These things really matter because if it doesn't have inertia, if it doesn't have this launch pad, no drastic change is going to occur. Yeah, someone's going to release a new programming language with great framework like Ruby on Rails, and some people will use it. 5-10% of the population will use it, but it never goes so mainstream that everyone's heard of it, everyone has had experience of it, and it just remains niche forever. Stage 2, ecosystem. Older ecosystems are mature and tested, so why would anyone switch? Retraining costs time and money. A lot more materials to learn from the old languages, and not everyone wants to learn new things. These four things stop dead in its tracks the vast majority of new frameworks and programming languages. Why learn Svelte when React and Angular is everywhere? We could go on and on this. Like, why would we replace Golang when Java is so embedded in the banking system? There's just no reason. Or perhaps there is a reason, but that reason is going to cost us. So the question is it worth the cost? So stage 3, momentum. So how do you know that there's a momentum for your programming language? Well, your developers get younger. When you see a thriving ecosystem where it's growing day by day, your new developers, juniors as you might say, get younger and younger. If you're seeing a high influx of 13-year-olds learning your programming language, chances are your programming language is in stage 3. You're gaining momentum. Not every programming language will get here. Rust is looking like it's coming here. Golang might be coming here. But how many other programming languages you think are actually contending to replace the giants of C, C++, Java, C Sharp, TypeScript, and Python? Hmm, I think these are the only two ones, but I could be wrong. How you know that your language is getting replaced and your language is losing momentum? Well, your developers are getting older. What's the best example of this? Probably C. C is one of those languages that even though it's taught quite in most schools and universities, not everyone is learning them. Not everyone's using it. Or they might learn it for university, but they will not use it at their workplace. I do software consulting, and I don't use C. I've had no use of C whatsoever. I don't use C because I do cloud native applications, and in my area, C is pointless. Are these languages being taught in schools and universities? If your language is meant to replace another language, it's meant to have a strength that the original language didn't have, whatever that strength may be. And one of the best places where that change starts to happen is at universities because people are not pressured, academics and students are not pressured to pick a programming language for ecosystem. They can choose whatever they want to suit their needs. And then the last one on momentum is your language still favored in their niches? So if your language is losing momentum, you'll notice that in your niche, let's say banking, let's say embedded, let's say military, let's say web dev, whatever it may be, if it's losing momentum, that means that other people are trying other languages out. But there are some niches that will probably never stop seeing. Python is not going anywhere, guys. Python's not going anywhere. Server-side Python's not going anywhere. Scripting Python not going anywhere. And AI machine learning Python is only going to go bigger. C++ and fast-paced fintech is not going anywhere. So the last stage is majority replacement. And if your language ever gets here, uh, which not many languages do get here, that means it's getting replaced. This is a once popular language that was used and is no longer used anymore. So the best example of this is COBOL and assembly. Um, COBOL struggles to find new developers because everyone's aging out, everyone's retiring, and they're trying to get more people in, or for COBOL jobs, or they're trying to replace COBOL code, which in reality won't happen still for a while. Assembly is interesting because assembly is a widely used language in embedded and low-level and reverse engineering areas. However, not many people still use assembly for programming. Um, they might use it for, as I said, reverse engineering or some other task, but it is quite uncommon that you will build an application start to finish in assembly. Of course, there might be a niche or two, but this is not a language people commonly write programs in. And the rest of the programming languages that are on this list that I didn't mention, because you know what? Nobody gives a fuck about them. Um, what would be a great language? What would be a good example of a language that nobody gives a fuck about? Well, I don't know, because I don't give a fuck about it. The point is, if a programming language is mainstream, for one reason or another, people give a fuck about it. Either it's fast, it's performant, it's easy to write code with, it has a great ecosystem, it has a great community, or maybe a combination of the things that I mentioned. And I think that the main reason why programming languages cannot be replaced that easily is because the initial inertia and the creation of a new ecosystem is such a high entry barrier that only truly exceptional languages will go through the ringer. Because why would a senior developer spend 3 months to 3 years learning a new programming language when he can do the same job on an old one? Now you might say, "Oh, well, this is tech. We're trying to learn stuff. We're trying to improve. We're trying to get better. We should always be learning." Yeah, we should always be learning, but if you create a localhost 8080 Hello World program in Python or C++ or Ruby, it doesn't matter. It doesn't make a difference. Uh, your language should allow you to do things that the previous language didn't. Let's say, for example, don't want to use an interpreted language for whatever reason. I don't want to deal with runtime errors, so I'm not going to use Node. I'm not going to use Python. Okay, let's work with C Sharp. Or let's say I want the other way around. I don't want to work with a compiled language. I don't want to work with C++. I'm going to move on to Python. Those are real reasons to choose something else. Anyway, thanks for watching.